Capricorn, how are you? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Nina, otherwise known as Sinfulpluto, and today we are doing your Mercury retrograde reading. So I'm excited. This is going to apply to Capricorn Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Of course, this is a general reading, so it might not apply to everyone. Take what resonates with you and leave the rest that doesn't. And take it all with a grain of salt. And most of all, enjoy yourself. Sit back, relax, have a drink, have a snack, drink some water. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm using the Spacious Tarot. For anyone who is interested, I'll be linking it down below. And yeah, let's get started. Let's see what's going on for you, Capricorn, this Mercury retrograde. All right, what's going on for Capricorn this retrograde? What does Capricorn need to know? Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, okay. Well, that was quick, I guess. Oh, okay. Cool. So we have a lot of cards that fell out. So we have the Eight of Swords that fell out. Who else got this? Cancer got this, I believe. And I think maybe Aquarius or Libra. I don't remember who, but someone did. We have the Three of Wands reversed. Okay, Capricorn, I'm not surprised. We have the Ace of Cups. The Three of Pentacles reversed. Temperance. And the Six of Cups, which I'm pretty sure is what Virgo got. And then at the bottom of the deck, as the overall energy, we have the Five of Cups reversed. Okay, so I can read this a few different ways. So Capricorn, the overall theme of this Mercury retrograde for you is in relation to, or it's not in, how do I word this? Okay, the overall theme for you, this Mercury retrograde, Capricorn, has a lot to do with healing and basically putting a fire under your ass because it feels like you have been moping around and crying over spilled milk and dwelling a lot in the past, dwelling a lot on things that you can't change, on things that are completely out of your control. You're being very hard on yourself over it. I'm not surprised. I mean, I have Saturn in the first house, and I know that we can find, well, we will find any sort of opportunity to kind of punish ourselves for whatever it is, right? We're really good at punishing ourselves and making ourselves feel like shit. And I think this retrograde is really making us aware of our self-deprecating, self-loathing ways, if we aren't already aware. And it's making it very clear to us how it's very unhealthy for us. It doesn't really promote any sort of productivity. It doesn't boost anything for us. If anything, it makes us feel more shitty. It doesn't really motivate us. It just pushes us down, and leads to further self-loathing, right? And so I feel that with this retrograde, we really need to step our game up, Capricorn. I'm so serious. We need to really work on stepping out of this mentality of self-loathing, or this mentality that we have to suffer in order to be great, or that we have to suffer in order to learn a lesson, or that we have to suffer in order to succeed, because that's just not the case. Like, we don't have to suffer all of the time. Our default doesn't have to be suffering and misery and discontentment and dissatisfaction. Why does it have to get to that level, Capricorn? And the Eight of Swords is telling me that it's easy for us, it's easy for you, Capricorn, to be in that mindset. It's easy for us to be in that victim mindset, to have this woe is me mindset and just accept the fate that has been drawn for us and make absolutely no changes. But it's like, you are a cardinal earth sign. If you wanted to move mountains, you very well could. There's no doubt about that. But it's easy for us to fall back into that mindset of, I can't do anything. This is just the way that I am. There's no changing it. Yada, yada, yada. Making up excuses. And why does it have to be that way? Why is it that Capricorns learn best when they're being scolded, or whenever they're just at a point of like, oh my God, like I'm suffering, you know, like why does it have to get to that point? Why do we have to constantly limit ourselves and be so hard on ourselves in order for us to realize that things can be different? Anyways, so 8 of Swords, right? You feeling trapped in some sort of mental prison. You feel you're trapped in a certain victim mindset, and that feeling of helplessness, of powerlessness, that you don't have a choice, that there's nothing that you can do about it, that the future is set in stone and everything is just like, you know, the ink has dried and there's no way to change things up. And the truth of the matter is that the ink hasn't dried, right? Nothing is set in stone. That's the beauty of life. Nothing is set in stone. Everything is always changing, right? You look out your window, one day it's cold, the other day it's literally humid as fuck. Like, I live in Florida, right? Change is so beautiful. One day it was literally 50 degrees and the next day it was 80 and it was humid as hell. Like, nothing is ever set in stone. Everything is always changing. Life is always changing, always evolving. We as human beings are always evolving. And we know this. We have to implement that into our lifestyle so that we don't become so hard on ourselves. And with this retrograde, I really feel like the universe is just like cracking down on that shit, because there's no need to treat yourself, to treat our bodies, our souls, our minds, our emotions so poorly, with so much disrespect, when we don't deserve that. Like, we don't deserve the level that we are treating ourselves. Do you know? And we have the 3 of Wands, right? Which is the overall self-restriction. It is the self-limitation, the self-imposed limitations, the self-imposed restrictions, and how we hold ourselves back from so much opportunity. And we hold ourselves back from exploring so much of ourselves, right? As a Saturn in the first house person, I definitely relate to this, because all my life, all I've ever done is restrict and limit myself, and it's so paralyzing, and I'm still learning how to break out of that shell, because I don't like it. I hate that shell. I hate the fact that I'm so just, I restrict myself so much. I feel like I feel that a lot of the times I am wrapping myself up in rope. And I'm the one doing it. Like, I'm the one wrapping myself around this rope. No one else is doing it to me. I'm the one doing it. And I want to stop doing that. Like, I want to be free. I want to liberate myself from that mentality. I want to be able to go out and explore despite that inner feeling of like anxiety, and like not like that inner feeling of not having some form of structure. But not everything has to be rigidly structured. You know what I'm saying? And I feel that the further you restrict yourself, Capricorn, the more emotionally overwhelmed you become, right? Because we have the Ace of Cups here. And honestly, with the rest of these cards, I don't see this as something to be proud of, if that kind of makes sense. This Ace of Cups to me just tells me that you are feeling incredibly emotionally overwhelmed by the self-imposed restrictions, the self-imposed limitations, right? All of the rules that you place on yourself, all of the regulations that you place on yourself, the rigidity of it all. It's emotionally overwhelming. It's suffocating. And it gets to the point where one day you eventually explode and you're like, holy shit, like, I'm so tired of this. I don't want to live this way anymore. You know, you have like that burst of emotions, right? Because the entire time you're trying to numb yourself and you're trying to ignore everything, but that's just not our bodies. We as humans don't work that way. Suppression doesn't work. Repression doesn't work, because it always, 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 without fail, comes back one way or another. And I see those emotions coming up this retrograde, and we really have to, we need to work on implementing healthy coping mechanisms, healthy ways of treating ourselves, of handling stressors, of handling our self-imposed burdens. We need to find a better way to do things, because numbing ourselves so profusely only to end up bursting at the seams with emotion, it's not healthy. It doesn't do anything for us. It makes things worse, and it makes things messy. And we don't like messiness. We like being productive. We like being efficient. So how can we work on doing that? How can we work on handling our emotions efficiently, productively, and healthily, most of all? Right? We have the Three of Pentacles reversed, which gives me the feeling of isolation, of you pushing people away, of you like not wanting to talk to anyone, not wanting to burden other people with your problems, or just like having that kind of faux superiority complex. So you just completely isolate yourself from everyone else, because you think that everyone isn't as competent as you. Because even though you loathe yourself so much, there's always kind of like that coping mechanism, I guess you could say, where you think that you're better than everyone else, or you project that you're better than everyone else, which is an issue in of itself. And I feel like with this Three of Pentacles, this just really talks about how you need to work on integrating yourself, or reintegrating yourself with people, with classmates, with social groups. You need to start going out more, because isolating yourself and restricting yourself is just not the wave. And I know that for some of us, we might have like social anxiety or something, and that might be something that is challenging, but we overcome our fears, we overcome our anxieties by following through with them. We need to work on desensitizing ourselves and putting ourselves in positions of discomfort, so that we can get comfortable with the uncomfortable and we overcome those things, right? The further we avoid whatever it is that makes us anxious, or whatever it is that we fear, the more the fear builds, the more that fear feeds on our anxiety, and the more paralyzed we become. And we need to push past that. We really do. And I'm not saying that it's an easy thing, because it's not. Everyone has varying levels of, of what they deal with, of like their anxiety or their fears or whatever it is, right? We all have different levels of it, and we all have different experiences and different things, right? But we need to make the active effort. We need to have the willingness to work through that, to push past that, to overcome that, because it's what we deserve. It's what we ultimately deserve at the end of the day, Capricorn. And I feel like that is really kind of on the, like, that's like the main course of this retrograde, is like us really needing to work to reintegrate ourselves, no longer push people away, and no longer restrict ourselves from having these new fun experiences. I think it's important for us to really work on planning things out and not dwelling or remaining in the past, right? We have the Six of Cups reversed, right? So this is us crying over spilled milk. Maybe this is us, like thinking of a past situation and reliving that past situation, and letting that past thing define the rest of our future. And I'm really here to say that that past thing doesn't define our future. We define our past, our present, and our future. We define that for ourselves, okay? Nothing else does. And we can let it continue to define our future, right? We can continue to relive in that past thing, right? Or we can work, right? We can put in all of the work, the dedication, the consistency, all of it to bettering that, and to redefining our lives, and redefining the way in which we approach our lives in general. Again, is it easy? No, it's going to require a lot of work and it's going to require a lot of dedication, but it is definitely possible. And it's okay if we have times of like, you know, it's okay if we falter. You know, we're not perfect and we shouldn't expect ourselves to be perfect. And if we find ourselves feeling incredibly hard on ourselves, just being very hard on ourselves because we didn't get it on the first try, then I feel that that is a reflection of us thinking that we have to be absolutely perfect. And we have to remember that we are human, that we are flawed, that we make mistakes, and it's okay to not be perfect. We don't have to get it on the first try or even on the second, third, fourth, fifth, 10th try. That's okay, as long as we pick ourselves back up and we continue to persevere. We got it. Like, we're good, right? And it's all a matter of moderation. It's all a matter of balance, finding balance in our lives, right? We have temperance here. We need to work on finding moderation in the way in which we treat ourselves, the way in which we treat others, the way in which we handle our lives, the way in which we handle obstacles, and so on and so forth, right? We need to work on finding the perfect blend of strategies, of approaches, so that we don't end up beating ourselves up to almost death about it, you know? That's what this retrograde really signifies for you. And I think that by really reflecting and creating a safe space for you to express your feelings, that is going to be so incredibly helpful. By talking out your feelings, by writing, like, honestly, when I say safe space, I of course encourage you, like, if you have the access to some form of counseling, please do so. Honestly, talking out your feelings with a professional is one of the best, like, one of the things I would highly recommend for everyone. Finding a professional that you resonate with, right? And who genuinely helps you and makes you feel understood. That's one. Two, a lot of people don't have that sort of access. So try to create a safe space for yourself by writing things out, or, you know, obviously talk things out with your friends, but not everyone, you know, has like a trustworthy group of friends. So that's why I always recommend writing things out and journaling and like writing out all of our feelings, even the ones that are seen as socially unacceptable or whatever the case might be, right? And writing everything out, no matter how difficult or uncomfortable it gets, because we need to face those feelings one way or another and get to the root of the problem so that we can work to find ways to solve them. We need to work on solving these problems because we cannot continue dwelling in the past. We cannot continue dwelling in this victim mentality, in this woe is me mentality, in this mentality of helplessness and powerlessness and feeling that we don't have a choice, because we do. It might be difficult to believe that many times, but if we put in the work and if we are willing to change our perspective and change the way in which we see things, the way in which we approach things, like, it's very possible for us to make this happen. It's very possible for us to make a strong sense of progress, right? And grow and become better as people, right? And the general scheme of things. So that's really what I have for you, Capricorn. I know that I ranted a lot, but I hope that this was helpful in some way and maybe you were able to gain something out of this. So yeah. Comment down below what you think. I would love to hear what you have to say. Give the video a thumbs up, share it with your friends, family, loved ones, or anyone else who needs to hear this message. Maybe someone who has Saturn in the 1st needs to hear this. Or Saturn in the 10th, I don't know. Yeah, so subscribe to the channel if you want. Hit the bell notification to know when I upload my videos. If you want to book a personal reading with me, you can do so on Twitter and Instagram at Sinfulpluto. And Wait. If you want to book a personal reading with me, you could do so on Sinfulpluto.com. If you want to find me on social media, you can do so on Twitter and Instagram at Sinfulpluto. So yeah. That's it. I'll talk to you later. Bye.